Welcome to SpaceBorn Bubba, the beginning. Season 1, Episode 1, Part 1 of 5. Bubba and his wife, Arlene, are out and about running their errands in a rural part of the county in East Texas. It is a warm summer day, and the heat is baking the already cracked and potholed county road. The duo are driving around in Bubba's new electric pickup truck when it suddenly breaks down again. "Dang it," Bubba says. "What's wrong, Bubba?" asks Arlene. "This here electric pickup done crapped out yet again, Arlene," Bubba says with disgust. Arlene responds, "Bubba, this is the third time this month." "I know. I wish we lived in a simpler time when we didn't have these dang electrics," says Bubba. "Well, let's walk back home. One more time," Arlene says with extreme frustration in her voice. "Arlene, look over yonder," Bubba says as he points to a place in the distance. "What am I looking for, Bubba?" "I see a squirrel on the power line. How they do that without falling off?" asks Arlene. "Not the squirrel, Arlene. Look at that old pickup truck." "We'll bag the squirrel later for supper," says Bubba. "Bubba, that thing is nearly 100 years old by now." "It's just an old derelict," Arlene says. "I know, they don't make them like that no more." "Reckon they would sell it to us?" asks Bubba. "What are you gonna do with it, Bubba?" asks Arlene. "I'm gonna get it running," Bubba says. "Don't them things run on gasoline?" asks Arlene. "Yep," Bubba says with a smile. "Where are you gonna get gasoline?" "They ain't sold that stuff for ages," Arlene says. Bubba gets a contemplative look in his eyes and says, "Arlene, I have an idea." Arlene could practically see the gears turning in her dear husband's head. When these gears turned, it generally cost them money. Bubba was well known for his eccentric get-rich-quick schemes. Arlene said, "Oh Lord. Bubba, your ideas generally cost us money." "Not this time, darling. Not this time," Bubba says. "What do you got on your brain, Bubba?" Arlene asks with a sigh of exasperation. "I'm gonna convert it into a space cargo vehicle," Bubba says with a sparkle in his eyes. Arlene looks at her husband in a way that only a woman who has been down this road before can, and says, "What? How?" "Bubba. Well, I got them their engine nacelles I salvaged off a that wrecked space plane," says Bubba. "Bubba, you ain't no space mechanic. Don't you gotta be certified?" quizzes Arlene. "Don't gotta be, Arlene. Just gotta follow them their rules and the ways round the rules," he says under his breath. "Bubba, we gotta make rent. We can't afford for you to go off the deep end again," Arlene says with concern. Bubba looks at her and says, "Arlene, this is foolproof. I guarantee it." Arlene sighs that tired sigh she always gets when Bubba has one of his harebrained schemes. She loves him to death, and he means well. It's just sometimes he doesn't think things all the way through. Arlene looks over at Bubba and says, "Fine, Bubba, but remember, you promised me a double-wide trailer and a proper wedding ring." "I know, we'll get that before long. Don't you worry none, honey," Bubba says with a smile. "Okay, Bubba, I trust you on this," Arlene says. "Thank you, Arlene, that means a bunch," Bubba says with his whole heart. "Bubba, you crying?" asks Arlene. "No, just something in my eye," Bubba says. "Aha. Let's see if Farmer Brown's willing to sell that old truck," Arlene says.